Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back for another video. In today's video, we will be watching the patch 11.19 rundown on Mortdog's channel. I take these as more of a patch preview than the actual rundown, which is normally I don't film when I watch these because the changes that are on the patch notes today may not be locked in for the next for the actual patch notes on Tuesday. So they say they lock in their changes, meaning they lock in the biggest changes the week before the actual patch. But sometimes after they post these notes, they change some of the stats a little bit, or they revert a change they said that they were making because it just didn't go over well with players, or they've had more data to work with. So that's why I normally don't film these. But this is the Worlds patch, so I thought it'd be awesome to just do a patch preview and our patch note rundown that we'll have normally on Tuesday as well. We'll look at the official notes. So what we'll be doing in this video is I'll be listening to them talking, and then I'll be pausing a lot to give my feedback on what they're talking and what I think the implications are of these changes other than what the devs think themselves. Anyways, the last thing I'll say is if I'm watching this on Mortdog's channel, if you guys want to support our Lord and Savior Mortdog, then please follow and subscribe to him on his channel because he's given us this great content to look at and to react to. So let's get into it.
We are lowering the chances of a Tome of Traits dropping from a gold orb by about 40%. We like the Tome of Traits. We think it's a great thing to have. It's a cool high moment out of those gold orbs. It was happening a little more often than we were comfortable with.
Okay, yeah, this is the most broken thing in the world. If you get a tome versus the other players don't get a tome, like you are omega high rolling. And so them nerfing this by 40%, this isn't 40% total. This is like nerfing the existing odds by 40%, which I don't know what those odds are, but
now that people are kind of used to the item, so we're going to put it back down to a little bit more reasonable state. Any thoughts there, Kent?
Yeah, I smiled because I just can imagine Milk reacting to this because he always complains about the tome. Oh my god, you got free tome.
Yeah, tome is broken. It's broken. It's broken. It's broken. Imagine getting a Cavalier spat early on in the game. If you get a Cavalier spat, like that's like the best spat. You get a Cavalier tome early on in the game, all you have to do is play Rel to get value out of that. You know what I mean? And that's just an example. But like, you're playing Spellweavers, unlocks your comp. You're playing Sins, unlocks your comp versus not getting it. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So like, the difference is crazy.
It's not free, but
Night Emblem.
Reducing the odds. It should be
Forgotten.
Healthy for the game
crazy.
Because it's still remains like a super high moment, but just you don't see like a bunch of people getting this every game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool to have in the game. That's what makes TFT great. And that's what, a lot of people like me complain about a lot is like, the extreme variance on like how you can high roll and low roll, right? But you also got to understand this game has to be fun, and it's fun when you hit a tome. It honestly is, but you shouldn't be. I mean, there's so many people hit tomes, man. Yeah, I'm glad.
We also removed the 2 Reforgers plus 5 gold part of the Radiant Blessing table. So if you go look up the full table, that part of the table is gone.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
The real reason is, this getting 2 Reforgers just inherently kind of feels weird. It's not a bad thing. It's weird, especially if a lot of the time you don't need.
Bad thing.
It. And this combined with one of the other drops on the table could lead to a 3 Reforger plus 5 gold moment, which felt really weird. So we agreed that just felt weird, so we're just taking it out.
God bless. Thank you, Mort. Very cool.
Yeah, I think it did have some like the fun moment where like, you get something.
Have these dudes sped up, by the way, if you're looking at why they're moving so quickly.
Dragon, you can reforge it twice and like kind of shuffle your items and see like what if you can get something good out of this. But like for the most part, there's 2 Reforgers that are just gonna be sitting on your bench, and sometimes you have a third, and it just feels really bad to have these like 3 things that you don't want to use sitting on your bench. So we took it out.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
All right, on the trait side, skirmishers continue to be this really awkward comp that, frankly, like we've said before, I don't think we're ever going to get this quite right. Because, again, 6 skirmisher at 3-1, insanely powerful, falls off a cliff.
This change probably means nothing. Let's just be straight up. This change probably means nothing, and they just nerfed Jax, so I don't know. Something weird would have to happen for skirmishers to be meta, if I'm being real. I hate when skirmishers are meta, though. It's the easiest comp to run the entire game. It is so brain dead. Yeah, those things.
But we are going to give 6 skirmisher a little bit of a buff here. Hopefully make the skirmisher spat a little more appealing. So they're going to get bigger shield at the start of combat, 40 to 50.
Yeah, reroll skirmishers becomes a little bit better, and just in general buffing the comp up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's still going to suck, guys. Unless they just nerf everything else. I'm going into this blind, by the way. This should still suck.
Cool. Okay, Tristana. Why don't you talk about the Tristana rework?
Yeah. So Tristana, once she's in a good spot, she's like able to. It was optimized where like you can backline all your units. Tristana jumps into the backline into complete safety and just like assassinates things. And it felt really bad to play against. It felt like there was no counterplay. And so when she's nerfed from that state, though, she jumps in there. She doesn't kill things, and the thing turns around. The carries turn around and kill her. And so like it was very really good or really crappy. And so like to get her into a good spot, we wanted to take away her like the part of her that felt like there was no counterplay, and
The
but while
assassin.
keeping her like identity and maintaining the fun. So now she just leaps away from enemies whenever she gets full mana, and then gains that attack speed steroid.
Oh, so she's not a backline assassin anymore. So what you guys need to know is, instead of having to position away, you know, like you position like opposite corner of Tristana, she will jump to your carry, right? And so what Kent was talking about there is, you know, when she's OP, she jumps there and assassinates them. When she's not strong, she jumps back there and gets killed by your carry, right? But now, instead, she's just going to jump furthest away from enemy units. So she'll be jumping in her own backline. That's really interesting. I do agree with them that Tristana has a difficult problem to solve, that she feels like an assassin. It kind of sucks it takes away from her identity, though, as someone who can actually get to backline. You know, kind of like if you're running a Cavalier comp. You know, a lot of times when you're running a Cavalier comp, unless you're playing Sins or Tristana, it feels like you can't counterplay them at all, right? Or if you have like a mage that can hit their backline access. But if you're playing an AD comp, you feel like you have no counterplay because you can't get through their guys, and Tristana is one of those counterplay options. So that does suck that that's gone, but I do agree with Kent. Yeah, it was crazy hard to balance her.
And we're also giving her, like, allowing her to do this jump a little bit faster into the fight, and also giving her some AD. And so the idea here is that she's like the slippery, you know, Hellion that like jumps away to safety and continues to like DPS people down, and can sometimes drop aggro because she jumps away from whatever danger's in her face.
Yep.
Yeah, you might want to give Tristana a try this patch. And actually, this attack range nerf is a buff in certain contexts. Because if you put Ziggs in the corner and you put Tristana next to her, you know, you're putting him for corner bait for Thresh. But if they position all the way in the other corner, then what would happen with 5 range is that your Ziggs would D-corner and your Tristana wouldn't. So she would be the hook target. So it's actually like, you know, this is a nerf, but it's like a pseudo buff. It's kind of weird.
Should be a little bit more interesting. Hopefully can be a more viable carry. I think Tristana is the one champ that I'm not really happy with 5.5. Like, when we did that B patch, we kind of over-nerfed her into unplayability. I've been saying our goal for this half of the set has been to avoid that balanced Thrash. So hopefully this brings Tristana back into the meta in a healthy way, though. So it's like you can actually have a backline against Tristana. So
yeah, and just also to add on to this, we buffed 6 and 8 Hellions last patch, so like that is also stacked on top of these Tristana buffs.
Yeah, 6 and 8 Hellions suck though, but it's good with emblems. If you have emblems, then it's good. But maybe I'm trolling. Maybe there's a build.
That if you play, you know.
I mean, you generally just play like Cavaliers and Knights and 4, and then you fit 6 if you hit Teemo or if you get a Hellion emblem. So, you know, in certain contexts it is strong. So I agree with it.
6 or 8 Hellion, Tristana comp. She's gotten a lot of power back over the last 2 patches. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna try Tristana next patch. I'm not a big Hellion player. I hate Hellions. I think they're annoying. But I'm gonna try them next patch.
Thresh. Thresh is being nerfed specifically because Iniko asked 3,428 times. No, but really, but really, the thing with Thresh is, like, we're fine with this hook champion, you know, casting into the fight, and you have to position around it. The problem was, especially with a 3-star Thresh, this guy would cast 2, sometimes 3, even 4.
Yeah, he should cast 1 time. Thresh should cast 1 time, and 2 times if you're playing a stall comp.
Times a fight. And that was a little more than we're comfortable with, so we are doing a pretty big nerf here. Thresh is still going to cast
that like version of Thresh, because like in a Forgotten comp, he's...
I don't really need to hear what they have to say about this.
That 1 cast in 40 mana, so that shouldn't change much.
Cool. All right, Ashe. Draconic has been a little too hard to play.
Ooh, Ashe getting a 10 AD buff. Okay, tell me more.
We want Draconic to be a little underpowered so that, you know, you get the eggs and you can ramp up.
Right.
But Ashe was just really feeling like a bit of a wasted champion. Wasn't living up to that fantasy, even for a Draconic.
So
we're going to give Ashe 10 AD. This is a pretty big
telling
buff.
me.
But again, this should help the Ranger comp a bit, which also could use some love. And then, again, Draconic Ashe, get it out of the box. Like, maybe you can actually play this in the early game and it's okay. So this should open up some options here.
Yeah, Ashe was just doing too little DPS, so this brings her back up. And also just want to call out the Ranger comp that you mentioned. It's like 4 Ranger, multiplies this AD by a lot for a really high DPS.
Ranger,
so, like,
boo.
Meaningful buff, especially if you 2-star her, or in Draconic if you 3-star her.
Ranger sucks.
It's like supportive DPS basically for your other Rangers.
Yep, agreed.
And guys, something else to note is they buffed whatchamacallit? They buffed Set as a tank, and Set is very good paired with AD Ashe. So that's very cool. I'll be trying some Ashe next patch. I don't think it's going to be that great, but I'll be trying it out. That'll be fun. Guys, by the way, this one is going to be less of me like talking about what I expect the meta is. This is going to be more of me just kind of like reacting to some of the changes, you know, and just giving some of my input on what I think.
Let's talk about the Draven work. So with Draven, what we always felt was he always felt like he needed 4 items, right? Like, you wanted RFC, so he didn't have to move as much and juggle his axes. You needed BT, so he wouldn't just die and he could heal back up. You wanted Deathblade or Infinity Edge, so that you could get some big damage. And it felt like you needed Last Whisper, so that you can get through because you're front to back. And all of that kind of led to this point where, like,
I don't agree on the healing part.
You always felt like you were missing one thing. And we've talked about this before, that we want Draven to retain the identity of this 3-range, risky, but high DPS. We want Draven to be like the best single target DPSer in the game with big numbers, big crits. That's what Draven's supposed to feel like. So what we've given him is we've decided that, you know, maybe he doesn't need Last Whisper, or if anything, like his new identity is he can really cut through that front line. And so now Draven passively ignores 50% of his target's armor. Now I want to be clear, this is different than Last Whisper.
Yes.
This is, he ignores their current armor.
Ignores.
Means, let's say, for example, you're running Draven and Akshan. Akshan can hit the target, lower their armor from, let's say, 200 to 100, and then Draven is going to ignore half of that, so Draven is hitting a 50 armor target, while the rest of his team is still hitting 100.
Okay, so the math calculates after the shred, is what he's saying. So this is different. So you can stack a Last Whisper, whereas Akshan, if you stack a Last Whisper, you don't get double benefits. You just get the benefit of Last Whisper, which is more than Akshan's passive ability. So Akshan passively shreds, and he passively ignores. So if you were to play them both together, just like Mort said, it would happen just like that. And the math of Akshan shredding would go, and then Draven would half it. So you can still build Last Whisper to make them have 0 armor. Wow. Oh, he's getting a 15 AD buff, or 15 AD nerf, but wow, this is awesome. Here's what I've heard. This is the word on the street that Draven's already really good. So I've played some games with Draven, like I top 2'd with Draven today. It was almost a first place game, with Draven as my primary DPS. And I've seen other people first place, but the word on the street is in China, they're just hard gaming Draven. I didn't watch the regionals, but on the Chinese regionals, it was everyone contesting Draven. And so this is interesting. They're nerfing all of his base stats to compensate, though. I kind of like the direction they're going. I don't know if it's going to be broken, but I like the direction they're going. That I do agree with Mort Dog that if you don't have Last Whisper, it feels like you can't play Draven. And that feels really bad. Because if I slam Last Whisper, I usually don't want to play Aphelios because I don't want to... Aphelios can kill backline. And so I do like that this opens up his build path. You know, we'll have to see whether this makes him OP or not.
This is a pretty unique buff for Draven. Now, obviously,
I think it's cool.
We kind of had to pull back on his spell and base AD. So he loses some AD, loses some base spell damage.
This sucks, though, because he was actually a pretty decent Jeweled Gauntlet user if you had to use Jeweled Gauntlet. So this nerfs the Jeweled Gauntlet build, so that kind of sucks.
Loses some percent AD on his spell.
But it opens up his build path in the other ways.
Buff, and again, allows Draven to not get stuck on Ironclad as hard, not get stuck on that.
Guys, he might have a... since they're lowering his base stats so much... Wow, yo, his build is going to be like Runan's. It's going to be like Runan's Deathblade +1. That sounds really good on Draven. And so you can flex Draven Aphelios really easily. And they buffed Ashe, who goes in Aphelios comp. So next patch, I'll be trying slamming Deathblade and Runan's.
Galio. So
maybe there'll be a bunch of AP changes, so who knows.
And should be exciting.
Yeah, like net, you know, with all the numbers net, it should actually be a meaningful buff to Draven, especially because now that if he doesn't need to build Last Whisper, he can build further damage multiplication.
Yeah.
And so, you know, to solve whatever need you want to multiply your damage more, do you want healing, do you want more range, whatever you're going to build, just opens up that third slot for
Oh yeah, like RFC, Runan's Deathblade sounds pretty good.
Which can multiply damage in really big numbers.
And we both start
so
Andy.
And it's
I love Draven
overall, but we had to tune down his damage to compensate for this extra slot basically that opens up on him.
Yep.
Wow, I won't be building Last
Whisper.
Whisper.
Draven now.
Yeah. Oh, and just also he can use Last Whisper himself if you want.
Yeah,
to.
it's true.
Yeah. Recommend it, but you know, yeah, you mentioned the auction thing. He can still build the item. He's not locked out.
The crazy thing is, like, you're fighting a 40 armor target. You use Last Whisper, they're down to what's that math? 12, and then he ignores half of that, so 6. Like, giving him a Last Whisper does mean he's doing close to true damage on a low armor target.
Yeah, but then it feels like the passive ignoring armor is like getting really low value, but like.
Yeah. What they're saying is like, yeah, that's cool, but
so you know, it's not.
If you build Last Whisper, it's okay. It's just not
optimal.
optimal.
Like, it'll still be playable. So.
Yeah, it'll still be fine.
Cool, Draven.
Yeah, Draven.
All right, Heimerdinger.
I mean, who's gonna be building Last Whisper, man? Lucian would have to be really good. I mean, Lucian and Jax have to be good, but I don't think they're gonna be good. So.
Heimerdinger.
I will never be building Last Whisper if the AD options are Aphelios Draven.
Like,
no,
when you can get Heimerdinger online is quite strong. Like, he's still fine.
Yeah.
But the combination of the change in the meta, the amount of Banshee Claws you see around it nowadays,
yeah,
everything really kind of have knocked him down just a little bit. So we decided to kind of shift his power. We want to shift it out of the turret because.
Cool. I don't want to care. I don't really care what they have to say about this. This is pretty cool. This does nerf Archangel right on his first cast. So if you're building alternative AP items, and this is a really good buff for you. Because it's kind of hard to build Archangel because you need to build Sojin or something else, right? They're nerfing his turret AD, but that's cool. I like these changes because Heimerdinger does feel like risk reward for being like a 5 cost, the risk reward for going for him. He does feel a little bit more risky than the reward is, but I do think he's still strong though. So cool. I like the balance change.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Why don't you talk about Zerat Portal?
Okay, yeah, this is exciting stuff. Okay, so Zerat Portal or Zerat Portal
Wow, it's gonna work on assassins now. Let's fucking go.
It's really struggled to find its place in this set.
Wow.
It's kind of like lacking a clear purpose of when you.
Didn't
need
it used to
this,
do that
and,
like forever ago?
The spawn is helpful for creating more frontline, but
Wow.
it wasn't really like used meaningfully in this
Wow.
set. So we've changed it so that this can now
Guys, next patch is gonna be lit.
taunt assassins. So like, and this can taunt assassins, and the hex range has grown up a lot. So this is basically the item that says, hey, I want my unit to be targeted by everyone on the board, kind of in that way, depending on where you place them. But that's kind of the goal here. It's supposed to be like the taunt item.
Wow. Wow, you can put this on Galio so he insta-taunts. That's pretty cool.
Because the Zizarot Void Spawn will taunt again. And the taunt is a little bit unique in that, like, in the past, if you've played in previous sets, sometimes like the taunt causes units to walk and path all weirdly. That shouldn't happen anymore. So like the new taunt is basically saying,
Yeah, that they removed that so that units wouldn't walk
if
weird.
you can attack from where you are, you will attack the unit that taunted you. And so, like, for example, if there's an Aphelios in the corner and there's a Galio on your front line, you put Galio with Zizarot Portal, the Aphelios will start the game and be taunted by your Galio and will target your Galio, even if there's someone closer to the Aphelios. This is also going to go taunt assassins, so like you have to know where the assassin will, or like predict where the assassin will jump, because the assassins won't like path over to you. But if they all jump onto this unit with Zizarot Portal, they're all going to target that unit, and if the unit walks forward, they will follow that unit forward. So like if you place this properly, you'll be able to taunt assassins, and it should create more counterplay to that interaction.
Nice.
Yeah,
God bless. Yeah, because they removed that because of the weird targeting.
big thing here that I want to talk about, you already talked about in detail, so I won't go too deep, is again, taunt kind of changed here. Taunt is now, hey, you, if you're in range, attack me. If not, don't worry about it. None of the like forced pathing that was happening before, none of the awkward jank.
Oh, so okay. So if they're a melee unit, you have to be within like 1 or 2 hexes, even though it's a 4 hex
being able to
taunt.
place it in the right spot, right? If you
Okay.
have a Nocturne in melee range, ZZ Rot says, attack me now. And so I think this is going to be a really
But if he's not, then he won't walk. Okay, cool.
interesting item. This is probably the biggest change of the patch, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I also think it's a healthy change. I think this item will be a lot
I love slamming this item. I already like building
of
it.
fun. So pretty excited for that.
If I play an AP, it's a
And
good way to get rid of a
Honestly,
bow.
we should have done this buff 2 patches ago. We kept missing our localization deadlines and just kept missing it. But the reality is, Spear of Shojin is, I think, the most underperforming Radiant item.
Yeah.
And so we're giving it a Radiant bonus of 20 AP, buffing it up. That's one of the cool things about these
Oh my god. When I was reading this, I thought it said minus 20% AP. That's why I was like, are you guys trolling? Are you nerfing Spear of Shojin?
Radiant items, is we can just buff the
Okay.
item with some stats.
I thought it was going to be
I think
Shadow
it's also buff a lot of
Shojin.
the AP comp.
You know, if you had a Radiant Armory,
Okay,
A-bomb
yeah,
4
I
and 5. No one ever
to open up more itemization options for AP comps. If you had a Radiant Armory and you don't just take this just for the mana, you can take it for the mana. Plus you get some damage. So
And I didn't skip
any
anything.
stronger.
Cool.
All right, hit me with it.
On to the small changes. A-bomb 4 and 5. No one ever builds them anymore. They're just not really worth it compared to A-bomb 3. We're making it more worth it. They get more stats. Sweet. And then Cannoneer 4.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, these kind of suck. Cool.
Same thing.
I like
Cannoneer
playing
4
A-bomb.
isn't really dive deep into, but now if you want to invest in Cannoneer 4,
Ah.
things will blow up quicker. Makes
Screw Cannoneer, man.
Cannoneer stats a little more attractive.
Cannoneer sucks.
Blow stuff up.
Good on Auction, that's about it.
Yep. Nothing really else to add here.
Cool. On the small side, Kled, we're just giving Kled a small nudge up, trying to open up some more build possibilities here. So Kled
I like Kled.
3, maybe a little bit better. I don't
Yeah, I'll be trying some rats next patch. Don't at me.
think he's going to be S tier, but there you go. Same with Udir, same thing. Gets a little bit bigger spell shield if you want a 3-star your Udir. Buffs Draconic comps a little bit, who happen to hit the 3-star Udir. Is it going to make him
Well, I must be missing something about Leona getting nerfed. I mean, Leona feels pretty good, but I
S
must
tier?
be missing
No,
something.
But small buff.
I'll be happy to hear
And
what
then
they
Leona,
say.
I
Okay,
feel bad
hit me
about
with
this
it.
nerf, but like the reality is a 1 cost being a super tank that can't be killed with 3 full tank items just really isn't acceptable. It's at the level that Leona is able to do it. So we are nerfing her 3-star spell quite a bit.
I'm down with the 3-star nerf. I don't know why they're nerfing 2-star. I guess she's just a little
Good.
overperforming.
20 reduction after mitigation is still decent,
Hmm.
but like the champ needs to die sometimes.
I feel like I still at 2-star just have to decide whether I run Poppy or Leona, and they're good in different circumstances. Like if you're doing front to back fights, Leona's better. If you need more DPS in your comp, Poppy's better. So
she
I
gets a
don't
lot
know.
of different damage reduction multiplication.
I kind of like her
with
being
armor.
strong
She has knights
at 2-star.
and then she has the spell. So she 1 cost being that tanky was terrifying. And so this should make it so that just like she honestly just counters the small
All right.
instances of damage rather than like being able to meaningfully reduce large instances of damage.
Yep.
So should be good. It is kind of off a cliff at a certain stage in the game, and so this
Set 3 gets a small buff here.
Okay, I want to talk about Udir. Dude, they're buffing Udir and Set. Let's fucking go, dude. All right, I'm gonna be trying some Draconic builds, some really troll Draconic builds. I've already seen some other plays. I think it's Ramkev plays a lot of Udir carry. Wow, I'm really excited to try Udir carry, Ashe carry, 6 skirmisher Udir carry. I'm really excited to if I get a Draconic opener just to go to that.
Now you might notice, hey, Ashe buff, Udir 3 buff, Set 3 buff. The interesting thing is because it is just 3 stars, I don't think this really makes the path of Draconic that much easier. But hey, if you reach some of those endpoints, the comp might be a little bit better.
Yo,
And then
Mord's
Soraka.
got us,
Soraka
man.
builds are fun, but they're just kind of underperforming a little bit. So
I do like Soraka
plus
build.
25 damage across the board should be a little nudge to Soraka. Maybe open up some newer builds, some
Yeah, Renunu, let's go. I actually like this change. I love playing Soraka.
Soraka builds. Again, nothing crazy here, just light tap.
One punch set is back. Is that what's this slide is saying?
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
So basically,
Oh, they nerfed his shred or buffed his shred.
like we
not his tank
sure that,
set.
like, set. We don't want set to be like walking to backline and one-shotting everything, but like he should
Right.
shred the front line so that your other units like Ashe can burn through them. And so
Okay.
Mind that, like this 40
All right, yo, I'm going sword start, duo carry, set Ashe. It's
red
time.
stacks. So like it goes to 40, 80, and then you can deal a lot of physical damage to those
I
units.
love playing set. He's so fun.
All right, Misfortune. Honestly, looking at this patch overall, this is one of the buffs. I'm the one who put it in, so if it ever goes bad, blame me on this one. But I do feel like Misfortune is a little too dependent on mana items, and so this is to let her get one cast off to try to let her be
Yo, MF's already pretty good. She's one of my go-to builds, honestly. When I'm climbing, MF's one of my builds. She's one of the builds I really look for.
a little bit more impactful early.
I feel what he's saying.
Especially if she doesn't have mana items.
He's already pretty
so
good.
hopefully this should be just a nudge to the Misfortune comp, or even just her as a utility for Forgotten.
Oh,
should be fairly
my
healthy
God.
without overbuffing her.
Oh my god, they're buffing 3 cost on the Worlds patch. Oh my god. We're about to be in a 3 cost reroll meta. Okay, don't quote me on that, but look at this. Oh my god,
Nidalee
Mort
and Riven
Dog.
both get a very, very, very tiny bump at 3-star. I mean, if you look at these numbers are tiny because we don't think they're far off, but they do need a little bit of a nudge compared to their competitors.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's 5%, but it's 20 dude, Mort Dog.
This one coupled with the Kennen.
And they're buffing Ashe,
more
Mort Dog, please.
You know, something to bring back to Tristana comp. Like if you don't think the Tristana
They're
numbers.
buffing Tristana.
There are other things that we're touching.
Oh,
within
yeah.
sync that is
Oh
awful
my
with her,
god.
that should make her stronger. So just wanted to add that part.
Cool. Karma continues to be a champ that she's strong in the right conditions, but
Sure.
those conditions are very hard to pull off. A lot of people are really struggling with her. We do still want her to be a carry. So again, we're going to give her 50 HP, so she'll be a little bit more survivable. And we're just buffing the 2-star 10 damage.
Hey, I'm down with that. Yeah, Karma is really dependent on hitting legendaries.
Again, Karma does a lot of damage, so we're not really
He's
worried
good,
about that. And
but
honestly, we
it's
can't
kind of
go higher than
weird.
This is already a little.
I feel you
to
more.
be honest. But this should make Karma just a little bit easier to use if she doesn't have literally the perfect items.
Yeah, I agree. I think nothing else to add on this slide.
Cool. Garen. Garen Victorious is fun. And so this should incentivize you to try to actually build damage Garen. Get that death cap. Make Garen hit hard. We want to see carry Garen at the Worlds. So let's see some carry Garen.
All right, I love Garen. I'm down with what Mort's saying. I don't think Garen needs a buff, if I'm being real, but I'm down with Gangplank Garen.
Honestly, this is a lot of damage. So if you
10% on his spell is a
Garen
lot.
Something and then jump into the next thing, you'll be like, holy crap, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So like,
Wait, Victorious is his auto attack, isn't it?
don't sleep on this trait. You know, you can take advantage of it. You don't even need to like 3-itemize Garen to take advantage of it. You can just have a 1 damage item Garen, and it should be able to do.
I love playing
decent
Garen.
work, especially if you have like a Karma chunking people. So
Yeah, I think I'll call it now. Death cap, Hodge, tank item.
you can see it, Warmogs or something. So they
Warmogs.
Warmogs, Bramble. I don't care. I don't care what the tank item is, but yeah,
It's Warmog.
that's
Maybe not Hodge. I can see like Death Cap.
no Hodge for the Victorious life steals. Get him back up.
Huge lifesteal or a huge omnivamp for the
Mhm,
Victorious bonus.
So
All right, let's see. Let's see.
Okay, I like how Mort
Alright, and
Dog's
that's
thinking.
basically it. The only two other things to talk about for our mobile players, we are changing the tutorial. Before, every tutorial had to be updated every set, stay around forever.
They're not. They did. It was a point.
Are you gonna talk about anything else? Any
I don't know,
bugs?
anyone. Until next time, take it easy.
Yo, thank you, Mort. Oh,
Everybody,
okay.
I'm right,
Okay.
Mort.
All right. Let me give a synopsis real quick on what I think, and then we'll give the real, like, what I think what the meta will be once I've had time to digest this, and once I can look at the official patch notes. But yo, Mort might be cooking up a 3-cost reroll meta, and I do not know how I feel about that being the Worlds patch. Buffing MF, buffing Tristana, buffing Riven, buffing Nidalee, buffing Garen, which goes into a legendary comp. I feel ya, but I mean, if you're playing the Dong Bringers, get a Garen with some items, you know, good buff to that comp. Yasuo is already decent. They're buffing skirmishers. There's already that secret Udir tech that might be troll. They buffed Ashe, so the Ashe is a better item holder. And if Ashe is actually a good carry, then people if Ashe is a good carry, then if people are rolling for her, the people can, that opens up the opportunity to roll for Riven, roll for Nidalee, roll for MF, or vice versa. If people are rolling for Nidalee in Riven or rolling for Misfortune, then that makes it to where running like an Ashe carry early game is an Ashe troll, which you could think about it a different way. Whereas if it's reroll metas early, then you wouldn't want to play Draconic because people are going to be punishing you. But at the same time, they buffed every Draconic to compensate. Oh my god, Mort Dogrith, are you taking us into a reroll meta for the Worlds patch, you dirty dog? Oh my god. Anyways, all right, we'll have better thoughts and what we actually think on this meta once we get to the official patch notes and I have time to think about this and time to kind of watch some other people play and play the game a little bit more. Then we'll have a better opinion on what we will think about these changes here. Oh my god, but I am nervous. I'm excited and nervous because a lot of big changes coming. I love the ZZ route change though. Anyways, that's it. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I really do appreciate it. And if you made it all the way to this point in the video, I love reading the comments for anybody who's like, hey, I made it this point in the video. I love seeing that because, you know, it's crazy. Well, it's not crazy, but it's crazy to me, you know, somebody stuck around listening to me talk for 25 minutes. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Mortdog's channel. You get all official updates from him as well. So please subscribe to Mortdog if you haven't done that already. Anyways, that's going to be it, guys. Appreciate you. And wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Bye.